Support for Dimmerling was predictable. In a survey done for the school while he was waiting for trial,
Okay, moving on to item 5.
Noble County parents voted by an overwhelming 2-to-1 margin to keep paddles in the schools.
The Board of Education sustains the right of teachers and school officials to administer reasonable corporal punishment.
Though perhaps concerned about more legal trouble, the board did write tougher rules for just how paddling should be done.
The instrument shall be a paddle of a 3/4-inch plywood. The parent will be contacted and must approve it in each instance. The action of corporal punishment should never be administered in anger.
Motion is carried.
The whole idea of paddling kids in school may seem like a throwback to another era. But in fact, Ohio is only one of 23 states that still allows corporal punishment. Nevertheless, corporal punishment does not mean injuring children. And if Bill Dimmerling is convicted on these charges, he could go to prison for up to 2 years.
Hear ye, hear ye. This honorable court of the common pleas is now in session.
Please be seated. The defendant is charged in the indictment with 1 count of endangering children, a felony of the 4th degree.
What the case is about is whether or not Mr. Dimmerling used corporal punishment in a cruel or excessive manner.
The question before you is whether this 47-year-old veteran teacher is a criminal.
Zebedee testifies before a courtroom packed with Dimmerling's friends and fellow teachers.
He paddled me twice, and the second one almost knocked me down the steps, and then he said one more time.
Did it hurt?
Yes.
I want to show you a picture that's marked State's Exhibit 1 and ask you if you can tell me what that is.
That's my butt.
Did you talk to Mr. Dimmerling?
Yes, I did. And he said, I didn't do any damage. It'll heal. He told me that he had done my son a favor and that if I don't discipline my children enough, that he will do it for me.
I want to show you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit C. Could you identify that for us, please?
A paddle that I've had and used for probably 20 years.
How do you determine how hard to strike a child when you're preparing paddling?
It's obviously a subjective judgment.
And Dimmerling sticks to his guns, that Zeb's paddling was justified.
He essentially got paddled not for blowing his nose, but he got paddled because after blowing his nose in a disgusting way, he continued to disrupt the class and refused to take directions from me, which is a form of defiance.
Did you lose your temper with Zeb?
No, I did not.
The key witness,
Shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the...
a teacher who was called in to watch the paddling.
Mr. Dimmerling didn't appear to be out of control, did he?
No.
In fact, you didn't see anything which caused you any concern for Zeb's welfare.
No.
This time, Your Honor, the defense rests.
After a day of testimony, closing arguments.
This is what this cost.
Remember that corporal punishment is not necessarily a pretty thing. Corporal punishment, to a degree, is designed to inflict pain.
Is paddling a child, a 10-year-old child, for those things that he did, is that excessive?
That's the question before the jury now.
All right. Court is in recess.
And the jury takes less than 10 minutes to answer it.
Court to jury in. Please be seated.
We, the jury, find the defendant, William J. Dimmerling, not guilty of endangering children.
Hey, you can still walk proud. That's right. Stood up for what was right.
Are you going to go back to school?
I'm not sending him go.
Why?
Because he'll be there.
The very next day, Zebedee enrolled in another school. Paddling is allowed there, too.
Next, you'll meet some parents raising children with a firm hand.
That's going to be a spanking. You never, ever kick at me. Is that clear?
With our kids, it works.
But should you use a hands-off approach? Find out when we return.
It's
Color Tile's summer inventory clearance final week. Below wholesale prices. Some items below cost. 50, 60, 70% off. Sheet vinyl, vinyl tile, price to move. Wall ceramic, 11 choices under $1. Floor ceramic from 39 cents. Wood parquet, lowest price ever, 29 cents. Laminated plank, clearance price, $2.99. Hundreds of carpets, Berbers, plushes, Saxonies, $7.99 to $14.99 installed. Why pay more for any floor? The summer clearance at Color Tile. Sale ends Monday.
Can you love too much? No. I love lots of things. I love baseball, my dog. I love Kentucky Fried Chicken. Last night we had original recipe chicken. Yeah, 11 herbs and spices. My mom tells me it's marinated. Oh, it's marinated. It makes it taste gooder in every bite. I think you're overthinking it. Maybe we better go have dinner. Yeah!
Rediscover original recipe chicken. Now marinated for that same great taste in every bite. Everybody needs a little KFC. Introducing the TL series from Acura. It has all the features of its luxury class competitors at a very competitive price. The Acura TL series. Once again, we've taken the concept of luxury in an entirely new direction.
Are you out there, AT&T? Of course you are. You're not gonna like this. You know how all along you've been telling us at MCI to put it in writing? Sort of implying that we weren't telling the truth about our savings. Well, approve a savings statement. We're sending them to our new friends and family customers, showing them how they save. Put it in writing. I hate to say it, AT&T, but you asked for it.
This fall, you will witness the most talked about 5 minutes on television, and you will be shocked. We swear. Courthouse.
Dick Van Dyke stars in Diagnosis Murder, Fridays.
You want to go sit in the timeout chair? No! You don't yell at Mommy that way. Do you understand?
Whoever said little girls are all sugar and spice?
Well, I was going to get my baby.
And everything nice?
Mommy, wait!
Never coped with a 3-year-old like Ann Merriweather.
I'm not waiting.
She's the youngest child
no ma'am.
of Carrie Merriweather.
It's a challenge.
I hate to get in my car seat.
Every day with Ann is a challenge.
Her sister, Caroline, is 5.
Caroline, stand up with your pillow.
They're being reared in Montgomery, Alabama.
And here's that verse, children, obey your parents.
With a firm hand.
And back in bed. Caroline, you too.
Their dad, Lee.
You've got to get them started down the right road, and you've got to get them started early.
Go.
That means plenty of praise.
Yay! I'm proud of you.
And punishment.
You sit right there in this chair till I tell you.
And that includes spankings.
Mama spanks me when I get out of my bed.
If you stick your tongue out at me, you'll be spanked. Ann, do you want to have to get a spanking? They understand that for being disrespectful to me, there's a consequence for it, and it's going to be a spanking.
They know why we do it, and the results of it are so quick that with our kids it works.
Surveys show that more than 80% of the parents in this country believe that spanking is an appropriate way to discipline their children. Some experts say that's just fine, as long as they do it with love. But others say spanking is nothing less than an act of violence and another form of child abuse.
Hitting, corporal punishment, spanking, they're all the same thing. They're all physical assaults on a child.
Murray Strauss is a sociologist at the University of New Hampshire who has studied the effects of spanking.
Children who are not spanked are better behaved. The mythology of our culture is that if you don't spank, you're going to have kids running wild. But the evidence is just the opposite.
I know it works for me, and in what context that it works for me, and I believe that it's producing healthy children. You're not having anything with that whining. Do you want to go sit in your timeout if you can't stop? If I thought otherwise, I'd have to look for another method. Come with me. Yes, ma'am. That's too bad. You stay right there and eat your cracker. I really felt like I had to seize control. Don't you talk to me that way. Is that clear?
Yes, Mom.
You're going to be sitting in timeout, and you're going to sit on this bed right here. want you to sit right there until I tell you can come out. Don't throw your head away from me. Now, when you can behave, I'll come back here and tell you you may come out. You're going to sit right there. Excuse me, no, ma'am. You don't ever kick at Mommy. Her actual kicking of me was like saying, you know, I'm the boss, and it just can't work that way. So I took that opportunity to spank her. That's going to be a spanking. You never, ever kick at me. Is that clear? Is that clear? Come here. I'm sorry, too. Come here. Come into your room. I'm sorry. All I want to do is correct some behavior that's got to be taken care of right away. I'm the mommy, and I can't let you kick me because I love you.
The major problem with spanking is that it has long-range harmful side effects. And unfortunately, parents can't see these. One that's been best studied is an increased probability of the child being physically aggressive. That is, hitting other children first, and then as an adult, hitting other persons.
No, ma'am. You're not going to swat at me that way.
Your child hits you, and then you spank your child, you hit your child. What message does that send?
Children don't have to be taught to hit. They don't, that's in them. My children have never said, you hit me. They say, you spanked me. Let's practice S.
Carrie says spanking has not made her girls more aggressive.
I think we were, as firm with Caroline as we are with Ann. That's a pretty good S. Look, Daddy. I really believe that Caroline is an easy child today because we've, kind of been set the guidelines and followed them and followed the rules.
I think we're fooling ourselves if we think that parents will never spank.
Dr. Den Trumbull is the Merriweather's pediatrician.
So I think we need to confront the issue and talk about how parents should spank rather than just telling them not to spank. 1 to 2 spanks to the bottom. The child is then held, and the disobedient act should be reviewed with the child.
I love you, but you're not going to talk to me that way. I'm the mommy. Is that understood? Is that understood? There can only be one realm of authority, and we're it. If I turn 2 children loose on society that I haven't managed in my own home, what can I expect society to do with it?
Thank you, Lord, for our new house and our clothes and our bed and our books and our table and
all my friends.
All my friends.
Amen.
And the light.
Amen.
I don't want to say amen. And Caroline.
Okay, wrap it up.
Flowers. The flowers in the sky and the moon.
When we come back, lash.
I hit him 8 times on his behind.
And backlash.
And they said, that's child abuse.
What happened when a father used a belt to discipline his son?
Parents should have the right to discipline their child.
I'm a grown-up. I know I need a nutritious breakfast, but a tiny magic voice inside me says, oh, frosting! I think fat and salt are a big no-no. I know, go for taste!
Get both with Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheat Cereal. For the adult in you, whole grain wheat, and for the kid in you, great frosted taste.
I know what always gets a gold star from me, the frosting!
And now, look for Grant Hill, Rookie of the Year on limited edition boxes of Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheats.
Breyers has created a spectacular ice cream dessert called Viennetta. But despite its delicious premium ice cream, with its irresistible, crisp, chocolatey layers, Viennetta could leave you with one small problem. Viennetta from Breyers. One slice is never enough.
LensCrafters and the optometrists next door work very well together. I test for glaucoma and cataracts with every patient. And with LensCrafters' 1-hour service, we can almost immediately see the results of our work.
LensCrafters, helping people see better, 1 hour at a time.
Pedigree's come out with a new dog food made specially for my Little Champions. All the beef in Little Champions has gone through the USDA inspection process. The proteins contained are high quality, and they're the building blocks for good nutrition.
Pedigree, developed with vets, recommended by top breeders.
Sassoon hair,
Hair that looks like it's never seen a dryer, never been teased or mistreated, that's led a protected life. Hair created at the Vidal Sassoon Academy, the world-famous center for hair care. Created at home with Sassoon shampoos and conditioners, with a protein and moisturizer complex protecting hair to its cuticle edge. So there's no brush it can't handle, no dryer it can't shrug off. Hair protected by the Sassoon Protection System. Professional care for your hair.
Many sports cars pack a great deal of power. Unfortunately, they don't leave much room to pack anything else. Introducing the new Nissan 200 SX, a sports car with a 140 horsepower engine up front and a big honkin' trunk in back.
And now, for a limited time, the 200 SX is available with low 2.9% APR financing.
Monica Seles is back.
I feel that I'm ready both physically and emotionally.
More from her first TV interview.
Tomorrow on CBS This Morning.
I say, you never catch me. Oh, you ready? I can explode like a pistol.
The school, they kept calling your mom and your dad and saying,
I can't keep up with this boy.
Yeah. This is all about a rambunctious 8-year-old boy.
Trying to be the class clown.
His worried father.
I was afraid he was going to flunk the 3rd grade.
And big brother, the government.
I asked him how he was spanked, and he said with a belt.
It deals with the touchy question of when should the system step in and draw its own line of what's discipline.
Either I spank Anthony or Anthony has to do the 3rd grade over.
And what's abuse.
And I hit him 8 times on his behind.
This case exploded here at a suburban Denver school last year.
Norman Kimbrough admits swatting his son 8 times at school, but he says the boy needed some discipline.
It all started when my son had a science project up at the school. So I took him up to the school, and his teacher told me that for the past 3 weeks, he had been like on the rampage.
Anthony, come here, Anthony. Anthony, come here. Norman Kimbrough had received repeated calls from teachers who were unable to discipline his son Anthony.
Get your key and put it up. He walked out of class, wasn't turning in his homework.
Don't let the other kids start getting education.
Make loud outbursts.
Fooling around, not fooling around when I'm not supposed to.
What? School. Yeah, you don't know, but you're going to read.
Kimbrough needed help.
Talk to the counselor, talk to the teacher, talk to my pastor, talk to Anthony, talk to friends, talk to relatives. You're going to practice your writing too, okay? My pastor told me that, you know, Anthony's at the age now where certain things you're going to have to spank him for. And I told him, I said, Anthony, this is it. I'm not coming, you know, if I have to come up to that school again, I'm going to spank you. And I did tell him that.
And then one day, that call came, and Kimbrough went to the school.
So I took him in the bathroom.
This is exactly the bell.
I was talking to him, and I said, now, Anthony, what did I tell you? You know, if I had to come back up here, that you was going to whoop me.
No, he hits me hard.
I took the belt out.
He holds it goes like this.
And I had my hands in the back of his sweats, so I would hit him right on his behind.
Whoa, now.
Like that.
Oh, that hard?
And I said, now, Anthony, I want you to go back to your class. I want you to sit down. I want you to do your work. And they better not call me no more.
If you use your hand, you know exactly how much force you're exerting.
A police officer responded to a 911 call from the school.
Found welts on his behind, one real clear welt of a belt mark on his behind.
When I got home, I seen a police car in front of my apartment complex.
I felt that at the time with what he did, he had stepped over the boundaries, and a summons was appropriate.
And they said, you spanked him, didn't you? I said, yeah. Well, that's child abuse. And my eyes got all big, and I just looked. I said, what?
Kimbrough's wife, Willie Mae, was also outraged.
Because they called us at school, and they were calling us for help because it seemed as if they couldn't control Anthony.
It is impossible to get the school side of this story. The teachers and school administrators refused our request for an interview.
It's a very difficult job for a teacher.
However, Marty Hauser, the chief legal counsel for the school district, talked generally about a school's responsibility.
If there are bruises or physical signs of abuse, or there's information from the child that abuse has occurred, then the teacher has no recourse but to report that.
What's the situation here in Colorado? What's the law here?
The law here does not outlaw corporal punishment, though children are being taken from their homes because of it.
Criminologist Brenda Scott has followed this case.
I think it's ironic that they called him into discipline and then turned him in for abuse.
Did you eat?
Yes. Over 1 million families, 1 million adults are accused falsely of abuse in this nation every year.
Scott says it's a perfect example of government interfering with parents' rights to discipline their kids.
I do not advocate abuse, and when abuse occurs, there needs to be intervention. But when we have this constant undermining of any form of discipline, it destroys that parent's authority.
But don't forget that you're going to read.
You can tell the difference between abuse. This one here, he's going to be the biggest one. He's going to eat the rest of them.
Kimbrough was acquitted of the most serious charge, child abuse.
Like spanking is against, that's a crime. It's not a crime.
However, the jury did find him guilty of harassment.
Harassment is that someone with an intent to harass, annoy, or alarm strikes, shoves, kicks, or touches someone.
David Bruno is Norman Kimbrough's lawyer.
So under the letter of the law, if I want to discipline my child and I touch the child, just push, tap him. Have I technically broken the law?
Technically, you have.
He eats tarantulas.
What impact has all this had on you?
Anthony seen that Dad could have got in trouble. It made him a little wiser, where so far this year, Anthony haven't had any problems in school.
Kimbrough's problems, however, are far from over. A judge sentenced him to a year's probation and parenting classes.
Do you remember that first time you had Christmas?
Mm-hmm. Do you think your parents have ever abused you?
I know they would never abuse me.
If I don't raise them, society is going to raise them. They can either go to jail, or they can be on drugs, or they can live under our rules and abide by our rules and grow up to be respectable citizens.
Oh, carnage!
I'm against child abuse, but I feel that a parent should have the right to discipline their child. Who's that, Spider-Man?
Yeah, and the other one's 6 arms.
Still ahead on 48 Hours.
He made physical contact with the jaw of another student.
Controlling classroom chaos.
But I can't put up with this anymore.
Meet one school's secret weapon. You're embarrassing.
Evidently.
And what can you do about this? Some suggestions straight ahead.
With America's highest basic long-distance rate, many AT&T customers may have to be very efficient with their calls.
Hello. Hi, Mom. How's a cat? How's a dog? Teeth okay? We're fine. Sarah got an A. Seth got a hit. Love you, miss you. Gotta go. Bye.
MCI customers, on the other hand, can really take their time.
Hello, Dad.
Hello. Because all calls to every MCI customer in every new friends and family calling circle are always half price when you spend just $10 a month.
Go ahead. Walk the dog. I'll hang on.
Half price calling, only from new friends and family.
If you love Velveeta,
We're gonna cream you with Velveeta, cream you with Velveeta shells and cheese.
the only one with creamy Velveeta taste.
We're gonna cream you.
When I get a yeast infection, I buy internal medicine. But for a burning external itch, I use Vagisil cream to stop it instantly. Vagisil works directly on itch nerves. Internal medicines don't.
Vagisil cream, regular and new maximum strength.
He spanked me 4 times open-handedly on the butt. I didn't like him touching my butt. I felt like I was too old.
48 Hours will continue.
Tonight on Dave, it's full speed ahead with Sandra Bullock, the Gin Blossoms, plus Ask the Mayor.
Is that real or is it a hairpiece? Whoa.
Susan Smith's lawyer has fought to keep her off death row. Now meet a woman who's on death row.
I think it's so easy for people out there to sit there and say, yeah, kill him, kill him. But they don't know who we are.
15 years on death row and counting. What's it really like? Her story on Eye on America tomorrow on the CBS Evening News.
You're on CBS.
3, 2, 1.
To celebrate the Apollo 13 movie, Hardee's helps you start your own space program. You could buy the Saturn V rocket from the government for about $14 gazillion. Or collect this 3-stage rocket when you buy any Hardee's combo. Collect 1 stage each week, only 99 cents. The government gives you space fare. Hardee's serves your favorite sandwiches. And Hardee's gives you 2 free Pog milk caps with each stage. So, compare price tags.
Well, I know which one's in my budget.
Apollo 13 rocket, new at Hardee's.
What are the twins working on?
A block of ice.
It's not that hot.
It's Christmas in July at H.H. Gregg.
So?
They're carving an ice sculpture.
And at H.H. Gregg, we're carving out the savings on a Zenith 19-inch or an RCA 20-inch color TV, just $188 each.
What do you think, Grandpa? I think he likes it. Cool.
Get a cool 0% interest for 6 months at H.H. Gregg.
Good evening. Coming up on Action 10 News Night Watch, cable customers find change can sometimes mean inconvenience. We'll have details of the changes.
A Southern Indiana facility for troubled kids will be taking on some boys with checkered pasts. We'll see how some are getting ready for the challenge. Kevin?
Heat and humidity, the 2 main words, and maybe a chance for a storm. That's just about what we've got in the weather department. I'll have complete details.
Eric Waxler with baseball action in sports. I'm Mark Allen.
And I'm Patrice Dayton. Join us here at 11 o'clock for Action 10 News Night Watch. We'll see you then.
Hard copy, weeknights on WTHI TV.
Discipline. When is it too much? Continues.
Get over there and tuck that shirt in. Come here. Come on, this shirt on. I got to tuck this shirt in.
Every morning, it's the same routine at the Mayport Middle School in Atlantic Beach, Florida.
When you go in the bathroom and tuck this shirt in, you can tuck that shirt in when you get to the restroom. Tuck it in.
Principal Layla Musa and her staff ride herd over more than 1,000 students.
What's going through your mind when you're standing in the middle of that chaos, watching all of these kids go to wherever they're going at class change?
Thank you, Travis.
I'm looking to make sure that everything moves smoothly.
Boys only.
Line up along the wall.
Okay, first young lady, come over here.
Does it make you feel safer?
Yeah.
Really?
Now that we know that nobody gets a gun or anything.
Which bag? Over here. Whose is it?
And they look for more traditional discipline problems as well.
Those pants are ready to fall off. Have a belt on tomorrow.
Mayport is not a particularly dangerous school, nor is it particularly rowdy. Academically, it is above average for the area, and there are few serious discipline problems. Keeping it that way means fighting a battle every single day.
Okay, folks, come on in and take a seat in line or in a seat. Go sit down. Find your table and sit down. What's the problem? There's no need to allow kids to get out of hand when you can stop it by simply being aware and being there to supervise him. Get back in here.
William Tolliver is one of the administrators in charge of discipline.
I get the feeling that you all feel that you're holding back a tide, that you go through all of this because you're afraid of what could happen if you don't.
The evidence is there. We are a hop, skip, and a jump from gang activity. If we don't be alert in this building, it will infiltrate. There's no question about it.
Discipline here is they're very hard on the kids as far as the small things like running around the halls and mischievous things.
James Waterman's 14-year-old son, Sean, is somewhat more than mischievous.
He broke some of the rules.
Sean has been suspended for 3 days.
Teacher says constant disruption, will not follow directions.
Sean's father is asking the school to readmit his son.
Sean is a defiant young man. To have a teacher give him a direction, he just as well not obey it as to obey it. It's left up to Sean. Sean does what he wants to do.
They're informing every move that's being made with the child here in the school. If there's a problem, they call you at home. If they can't get you at home, they get you at work.
Mr. Waterman, what I want to do with Sean is give him one more chance.
But before Sean can come back to school, the Watermans sign what's called a behavioral contract that Sean promises to honor.
I will follow class rules of each individual classroom.
That is your responsibility now, okay?
Dad has been very cooperative with us.
Dad's been helping quite a bit.
Sean's father is willing to come to school and help discipline his son.
We'll just try to keep getting better. That's all we can do.
If you have any problems, call me on the radio, and we'll go up there and get the person that's causing us problems. You got it?
This is the Shark Patrol. 25 students who volunteer to prowl the halls, hunting for trouble.
Student support. We need their support and to get them on our side to let them know we're working together as a team, okay?
Armed with two-way radios and sharp eyes.
Y'all are doing a fine job in helping us tell the students to put the shirts in.
Robert Gresham is the Shark Patrol's faculty advisor.
They have taken an oath that they're going to stand up for our school, and any kid that cause us problems, then we need to do something about this kid.
But in my day, kids like that were called tattletales, snitches. They weren't popular.
Right, in our days. Now, over 700 students are in line right now to become Shark Patrol.
Peer pressure is the first line of defense at Mayport, and it works most of the time. But there are times when the daily battle here requires tougher weapons. And for a 13-year-old like Clifford Edgar, there is no weapon tougher than Mom. Clifford is a football star, a big man on campus, and a troublemaker.
He made physical contact with the jaw of another student.
They call me a redneck mother blinker.
They've tried detention.
I don't know what I was doing because I was all riled up.
You were all riled up?
They've tried suspension.
I want him to stay on track, but I can't put up with this anymore.
Now they're trying shadowing. That means today, everywhere Clifford goes, his mother will go.
The last couple of years, I've had trouble with him in school. Last year was the pits.
You like being shadowed? What's it like? What's it feel like?
Slow down.
Not fun.
Not fun. What embarrasses you?
Just your mom being here walking with you and all.
Yeah. You're embarrassing him.
Evidently.
After he was shadowed, Clifford got into trouble again. The school is considering what to do with him.
Read that last paragraph.
Any violation to this contract.
Sean Waterman, who signed the behavior contract in front of his dad.
Severe discipline measures.
Okay. You know what the more severe discipline measures are? What are they?
Alternative school.
Broke the rules again 2 hours later. He's been sent to an alternative school where the rules are even tougher.
At first, a 2-year-old's temper tantrum may be cute. But after a while, it becomes irritating and then downright nerve-wracking.
He still needs a little bit more time out, I think.
If you think you're seeing more of this behavior these days, you are.
Smart sounds fine. Let's
When Dr. Bruce McIntosh became a pediatrician more than 20 years ago, he spent most of his time treating childhood illnesses.
Okay, throat looks fine. Okay, all done, big guy.
Today, he says more and more children are coming in with behavior problems they should have outgrown.
Bye-bye, Harrison. You were reasonably good.
It's normal for a 2-year-old to act in a childish manner, but once he starts demanding more than it's reasonable for a 2-year-old to expect, then he starts being spoiled.
Meet Dalton, a 2-and-a-half-year-old who has it all figured out.
Whoa, did something bite your hand? Come on.
Whenever he cries, Dad pays attention. Dad is John Cuminelli, a pharmacist, who takes care of Dalton by himself until his wife gets home in the evening.
See, all your tears are gone. You're not gonna cry in the car, are you?
And even John would admit he doesn't quite have the hang of it.
All right. Come here. All right, let me reach back here. Is that better? Well, so you gotta stop crying. You know, I know when I'm being manipulated. You know, I know when he's doing it to me. Dalton. Come on. You know, I kind of feel guilty working all day, and then I go and get him, and
It happens.
you know, you try to make sure he's happy. You hate to see him crying.
Working outside the home may be a matter of economic necessity. I think these days a lot of families need two incomes to get along.
I didn't have time to do anything with dinner or anything.
And why does that make it more difficult to be parents and raise kids?
Well, it's because the parents then have less time for the children and less time for themselves.
You don't want that? You want which one?
And often, just to keep peace in the house, McIntosh says,
What is that?
parents avoid disciplining their children even when they need it.
Come on, hurry up. I'm going to win. You want to have good quality time with him. You don't want to be fighting with them. And I don't know. It's easier to give in to a certain amount of degree just to keep them happy.
Ozzie Nelson never had these problems. This is the idealized version of family life that most of us grew up with. You know, mom stays home and teenagers still drink milk. It's not so simple anymore. Today, only about 35% of American families still live like Ozzie and Harriet. But researchers say that doesn't mean that parents in the 1990s can't do just as good a job as their counterparts from the 1950s. Married or single, working outside the home or in. What makes a difference, they say, is not the parents, but the parenting.
What we're seeing now in research is that children who haven't had limits set for them appropriately along the way, when they're 2, 3, 4 years old, are often children who develop discipline problems when they're in the elementary school years, and those are often kids who develop more serious problems during the adolescent years.
Dr. Larry Steinberg is a psychologist who co-authored a 4-year study of 20,000 teenagers. What he found is that problems in school, even the use of alcohol and drugs, can often be traced to what he calls indulgent parents.
These are parents who might be very loving and warm toward their children, but these are parents who don't set very many limits and don't make very many demands of their kids. They let the kids call the shots.
You're going to read one book and then we go to sleep.
And that imbalance of power is most apparent at bedtime.
Cinderella. Difficulty bedtime with Dalton. That means, Dad, one more story, you know, after I've read them 3. Give me kisses goodnight, Dalton.
What happens if you walk out?
He'll cry. What do you want to hear, Dumbo? Okay, and then that's it. Then we sleep, right? Once there was a circus elephant named Mrs. Jumbo.
It's not that Dalton doesn't get any discipline. Look what happens when Mom, Juna Lynn, steps in.
You ready to go to sleep?
Yeah.
He immediately quiets down.
Now you go to sleep, okay?
But this may actually confuse Dalton.
Very often in households with preschool-age children who misbehave a lot, who are difficult to manage, the problem often is inconsistency on the part of the parents. Sometimes it's inconsistency between the parents.
So is he in bed for the night now?
He's in bed for the night.
Yeah,
But you can still hear him.
You know, if he gets out now, Mom's gonna yell at him.
You're a pushover, John.
I know.
The Cuminellis know they have a problem. The question is, how do they fix it? When we come back, how the parents of this 2-year-old tempered her tantrums.
Come on.
Many sports cars pack a great deal of power. Unfortunately, they don't leave much room to pack anything else. Introducing the new Nissan 200SX, a sports car with a 140 horsepower engine up front and a big honking trunk in back. And now, for a limited time, the 200SX is available with low 2.9% APR financing.
It happens every day. As the earth rolls on its belly, the lights go out from east to west. Night sweeps across the land. This is the time when dreams are made. And as another day is put to bed, a tired eye blinks once, twice. Good night, sleepyhead. Serta. We make the world's best mattress.
I don't know. I mean, if someone could please tell me how this stuff moisturizes so well, I would love to know. It felt nourishing, like it was still penetrating my skin. Even when I went to bed, I could still feel it working. I even went out and bought a pair of silk pajamas. Maybe it was because my skin felt so soft.
Introducing Dove Body Wash. It contains a unique 8-hour moisturizing formula that keeps your skin soft all day.
It just sort of clings on, and it just lasts all day. This is the closest thing to pampering I get to do for myself.
Dove Moisturizing Body Wash for soft skin all day long.
Oh, Cliff, do you have a second? Sure. Listen, I know we're not getting the savings that you expected from our new long-distance company, but I have a solution here. We could go back to AT&T at a guaranteed competitive price.
Thank you, Brian.
Cliff, I've solved our long-distance savings problems. Look, AT&T guarantees competitive prices.
Nice work, Danielle.
Switch to AT&T for guaranteed competitive prices. Call 1-800-COMPARE. In fact, we'll give you 1 month's worth of long distance up to $200 if you don't agree.
Hey, Cliff.
AT&T, for the life of your business.
Hi, folks. I'm Tom on The Late Late Show. Is it real or fiction? Lorenzo Carcaterra talks about his new book, Late Late Show. I can't believe he wrote about us.
Kim Cooper's the queen of blind dates.
Oh, my God, he's actually cute.
But Sundays this fall,
Hold this.
she is gonna meet the man of her dreams.
You don't want to look too attractive to the duds.
Now her life's perfect.
Get ready to jot down my number.
Just one problem.
I'm not Tom.
For Nancy Travis, life's almost perfect. Sundays this fall.
What do you do about Chelsea? A 2-year-old who spends most of her day like this.
Chelsea, come here. Come on, let's do this.
Her mom, Maria, is a homemaker. Her dad, Tony, just got out of the Army.
Chelsea has a hard time. If she gets bored, then she wants to be entertained. And when she's denied that, or denied anything in general, then she deals with it like that, with the tantrum. Tony.
Tony and Maria sought help from Dr. Edward Christopherson, a specialist in child behavior in Kansas City.
Now, that'll work well when you're an adolescent, won't it?
What do you say?
You're at school, somebody makes you mad, Dad stops work, comes rushing over and picks you up. If she can learn how to calm herself down, she doesn't have to have her dad there. She's a healthy girl, nice family. She's got everything going for her. She doesn't know how to calm herself down.
Yay, I got that one. Dr. Christopherson recommends the use of what he calls the time-out.
Time-out pushing.
That's the technique this psychologist is using with another child in Christopherson's behavior lab.
Oh, I can't hear what the animals are saying, but there's
She's ignoring the child and playing with toys he likes, giving him an incentive to calm down.
The time-out should be impoverished. The time-in should be wonderful.
Time in. You can play again. Good job. You're nice and quiet.
Any parent, when they see their child crying, they think when they're picking it up that they're giving comfort to their child.
That's right. And if they change it by a couple of seconds so that they do it often, wait until he's gained his composure, then pick him up. He's getting just as much affection, but he's also learning a skill he can use the rest of his life. I'm going to try to apply the techniques that Dr. Christopherson said. And he said, basically, ignore her and continue doing things. And then when she chooses to calm down for a couple of seconds, like she almost did, then I'll pick her up.
Just 1 week later.
Let's take a look at Chelsea and see if she's improved.
Time out crying. If you want to ask me what you want, you can.
Yeah.
This paper?
Yeah.
There you go.
That was nothing. That lasted seconds.
No. That's what we're talking about. Did they look any more relaxed?
Yes. That's pretty incredible, I have to admit. That's pretty incredible.
If we can teach our kids self-quieting skills, there's less need for discipline.
And when I started seeing the results, I said, nope, there's no turning back. This has got to keep going. You give me thanks.
Many Americans, I'm sure, are having the same problem raising their kids. They just need to know a better way to do things.
Dig in.
Okay.
Ready? We'll get started and we'll pass.
Okay, Chelsea.
Till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky, and I'll never
May 5th, 1993 is a day Kelly Frenchville won't soon forget. That morning, her stepfather decided to teach her a lesson.
4 days before, I had spilt breakfast cereal on the floor, and I had ignored it because I didn't feel like cleaning it up.
Well, this went on until finally the 4th day rolled around, and it was, Kelly, I think we're going to need something a little sterner than asking you to go in the kitchen and clean up the cereal.
But her stepfather's idea of discipline was too much for Kelly.
She said that she'd been hit in the back and dragged across the living room by her hair.
She said that her stepfather had punched her in the back and drug her by her hair across the living room from not cleaning up a mess.
On the way to school, one of Kelly's friends spread the word.
And she told everyone on the entire bus what had happened.
When Kelly arrived here at school, she retold her story about her abuse at home. It was here where the wheels of the system began to move. And once that happened, the investigation into Kelly's abuse took on a life of its own.
I went into the counselor's office.
What did you say there?
I told her that my stepdad had drugged me by the hair and that I had been hit.
The counselor told the school's principal.
And we decided that we need to call Child Protective Services and report it.
But Child Protective Services couldn't get to Kelly's case right away. So after school, Kelly went with friends to a neighbor's home.
We had just pulled up.
There, she told her story to Kathy McKay and Darcy Van Stratton.
And Kelly jumped into the van and started telling us what the counselor had said. And that she shouldn't go home, she needs to be at a safe place.
And we asked her, well, can't we tell your mom about this? And she said, no, you can't.
Meanwhile, when Kelly didn't come home after school, her mother, Ellen, was frantic.
I asked her friends, I asked bus drivers, I asked teachers.
Ellen, Kelly's mom, drove up. My niece jumped out, slammed the van door. Kelly hid.
And I was hiding in their minivan, sitting there looking up at my mom, and she didn't see me.
I was pretty hysterical. I was crying. I was asking, have you seen her? Can anybody just tell me that she's all right?
Ellen talked to the girls, and thinking they were doing the right thing, they told her that they hadn't seen Kelly.
And I didn't even know she was okay.
The neighbors were worried.
The child wanted to run away, and that's where we felt we had to do something.
So they called the child abuse hotline, who told them to call the police.
Once I initially arrived, I talked to the neighbor.
Then Deputy Sheriff Frank Minnie talked to Kelly.
She said she had no marks. There was no signs of physical abuse, no signs of beatings or that type of thing.
So Deputy Minnie took Kelly home and talked to her parents and sister.
Her older sister talked to me independently and indicated, you know, this is baloney. This is not what happened.
What did happen?
And that morning, he spanked me 4 times open-handedly on the butt.
She was given a swat for each day. She was asked to clean up the mess she made and did not.
I didn't like him touching my butt. Really, basically, I felt like I was too old. 12 years old, I felt like I was too old for it.
Did it make you angry?
Angry enough to file a fake police report.
So where did Kelly get the idea to make up this story?
Safe, strong, and free. Good job.
Through school programs similar to this one.
And if you can't think of a person you feel safe with, you should probably talk to your teacher or your school counselor so they can help you figure out where you can feel safe, okay?
They gave them a list, an actual list of conditions that are abuse, and one of them was being pulled by the hair.
And it was the first thing in my booklet.
So is that where you got the idea to throw in the part about your stepdad pulling you across the room by your hair?
Yes.
You were accusing your stepdad of child abuse. Do you know how serious that is?
I didn't really know.
I think the whole thing snowballed on her. I don't think she ever really intended it for it to go as far as it did.
It's automatically, if a child says, I've been abused, the wheels start in motion.
Deputy Minnie says today, all reports of abuse are taken more seriously than they used to be.
And I'm not sure that they really realize the seriousness of filing false reports or what their actions can do to their parents and their family.
There will always be people who will believe, no matter what, that Kelly was abused and that I'm a criminal.
No. She had told us all this stuff, and we believed her.
Would you do it again?
I regret because of the outcome. I regret how it's turned out. Would I do it again? In a heartbeat.
Until the river runs dry.
on Dave. It's full speed ahead with Sandra Bullock, the Gin Blossoms, plus Ask the Mayor.
Is that real or is it a hairpiece? Whoa.
Introducing the TL series from Acura. It has all the features of its luxury class competitors at a very competitive price. The Acura TL series. Once again, we've taken the concept of luxury in an entirely new direction.
Ooh, okay, it's a little, whoa, short.
What's wrong with short? He's short. I like short. When you're working for a special look.
Hey, it's our anniversary.
Oh, why not? Part of getting that look should include Kellogg's Special K.
Big boy, he can take it.
Great toasted taste, just 110 calories, and fat-free. Kellogg's Special K. Great taste never looks so good.
This is too funny.
Since we first broadcast this report in January, there have been these developments. The Mayport Middle School in Florida, where they take discipline very seriously, won a major award from the Department of Education for combating drugs and encouraging good discipline. And remember Zebedee Gerwitz, the Ohio boy who was paddled by his teacher and took him to court? His mother says he's doing well at the new school and even made the honor roll. As for his teacher, Bill Dimmerling, he recently was given a new 3-year contract, the longest they give teachers in his district. That's 48 hours for this week. Now, a look ahead to our next report. Scandal in the schoolyard.
He touched me a lot.
He leaned down and he kissed me on the lips.
They want to fire this teacher.
What you have here is a nice man who does bad things to young girls.
He said, why don't we make this our little secret?
But are his students telling the truth?
I don't touch children inappropriately.
This is a fight.
You decide.